Welcome to Dreadborn Tales. Dare to listen if you can handle the dread.
A horror story from my exam days. The never-ending preparation. Every student fears the MT, but for me it became something much worse. A nightmare that refused to end. For months, my life had revolved around books, notes, and endless past papers. I barely slept, I barely ate. My entire existence had become a cycle of studying and self-doubt. No matter how much I memorized, it felt like I was drowning in a sea of information, unable to retain anything. Every morning, I would wake up with a sinking feeling in my stomach. Every night, I would stare at my books until my vision blurred. I told myself it was just exam stress, that everyone felt this way, but deep down something felt off. Then came the night before the exam. And that's when the real horror began. A disturbance in the night. It was 2 a.m. The world outside was silent, but inside my head there was chaos. I sat at my desk, flipping through my notes, forcing myself to stay awake. My room was dimly lit by a single table lamp, casting long, flickering shadows on the walls. The only sounds were the occasional scribble of my pen and the soft tick-tock of the clock. Then, suddenly I felt it. A strange sensation, like someone was standing right behind me, watching me. Froze. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Slowly I turned my head, expecting. What exactly? A ghost. My exhausted reflection. But there was nothing. I shook my head and tried to focus. Just stress, I told myself. Just exhaustion playing tricks on my mind. I glanced down at my notes. And that's when my heart nearly stopped. There was an extra page in my notebook. One I had never written. The words scrawled across it sent chills down my spine. Tomorrow's exam will be the last exam of your life. A lump formed in my throat. My fingers trembled as I tore the page out and threw it away. Just then, a soft knock echoed through my room. I froze again. The knock was slow, rhythmic, too soft to be from my parents, yet too deliberate to be the wind. I turned toward the door, my heart pounding in my chest. Who could it be at this hour? Summoning my courage, I slowly walked to the door and opened it. Nothing. The hallway outside was empty. Just as I was about to shut the door, I heard it. A whisper.
Are you ready?
I slammed the door shut and stumbled back, my breath coming in ragged gasps. This had to be a hallucination. A product of sleep deprivation. Yes, that had to be it. 3. The exam hall that wasn't normal. Morning arrived too soon. I walked into the exam hall, trying to shake off the events of the previous night. It was just anxiety, I told myself. Nothing supernatural. But as soon as I stepped inside, something felt wrong. The hall was eerily quiet. Too quiet for a place filled with hundreds of nervous students. The air was thick and heavy, making it hard to breathe. The fluorescent lights above flickered slightly, casting strange, shifting shadows. I took my seat and looked around. Everyone's faces seemed blurry, almost as if they weren't really there. The exam began. The examiner walked down the aisle, placing answer sheets on every desk. But as he neared me, a strange realization struck me. I couldn't see his face. No matter how hard I tried, it was just a void. A shifting blur of shadows. Shivers ran down my spine as he placed my answer sheet in front of me. My hands were clammy as I picked up my pen. I forced myself to focus and started writing. But as soon as I lifted my pen, the words disappeared. I blinked. I wrote again. The ink faded away, leaving the page blank. I gripped the pen tighter, pressing it harder against the paper. But no matter what I wrote, it vanished before my eyes. My breath quickened. I looked around, searching for someone to help. That's when I noticed them. The students beside me. They weren't moving. They were staring. All of them. Their heads turned unnaturally toward me. Their bloodshot eyes locked onto mine. Their lips curled into eerie, twisted smiles. And then blood. Dark red streaks trickled from their eyes, smearing down their pale faces. Their lips parted, and in unison they whispered, "You shouldn't have come." My chest tightened. I tried to stand, but my body wouldn't move. Then footsteps. The examiner was walking toward me. His shadow grew longer, darker. His face remained a swirling void of emptiness. He stopped right beside me, leaned down, and whispered in a voice that wasn't human.
You ignored the warning. Now there is no escape.
The lights flickered violently. A deafening noise filled the room, a mixture of static, whispers, and distant, echoing screams. My vision blurred. The walls of the hall twisted and melted into darkness. And then, everything went black. For reality or a curse. I woke up with a gasp. I was in my bed. My heart pounded wildly in my chest. My hands trembled as I wiped the sweat from my forehead. Was it all just a dream? I turned to my desk. My books and notes were still there, untouched. My clock read 6 a.m. Had to be a nightmare. Just a product of my overworked brain. I let out a shaky breath and reached for my notebook. But as I flipped through the pages, I froze. There, in deep red letters, was a message. "This is just the beginning." The room suddenly felt suffocating. My ears buzzed with an eerie silence. And then, a soft knock on my door. My blood ran cold. I was awake. And this time, it was real. MCAT is just an exam. But for some, it's a curse.
Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. I'll see you again with another creepy story. Until then, stay safe.